Hi, in this video, I'm going to show you how to add WEBGUI to the project. WEBGUI is a web interface that QAsia has developed to allow HTML5 based browsers like the Safari, IE, 10, and other Android browsers, Chrome, Mozilla, to access the control systems without using any third-party or native application runtime. To add WEBGUI to the system, first thing, we have to download WEBGUI from our servers. Alright, you can download it from our QSystem Asia website. So this is an example of the zip package from the WEBGUI. Double-clicking and opening up the zip package, you have full documentation on the WEBGUI as well as 3 modules. The web server module, WEBGUI collection module, and the WEBGUI interface module. Double click on the menu. Alright, we'll open up the PDF file. Alright, to show you how the WEBGUI works. The functionality of the WEBGUI. Alright, and how it works. Alright. So basically, as you can see here, in simulation mode, you have the PC and the Visual Composer running inside the PC as well as the internet browser. Under simulation mode, the WEBGUI builder or the WEBGUI touch panel will be running, and the controller in the instance will also be running. The WEBGUI touch panel will load via the GUI web builder, will load all the web files into the controller via the WEBGUI server and storing it into the file storage. And after that, the internet browser will be able to request for the web page from the WEBGUI server, and the web page will appear in the browser, and control will be enabled henceforth. Under hardware mode, the controller will be physical, PC will be separated. In this case, the simulated PC with the WEBGUI touch panel instance will load the files across the Ethernet to the controller that has the WEBGUI server running and loading the files into the file storage. Alright, and the internet browser will directly connect to the physical controller and load the files across and start controlling on the physical controller itself. And finally, in working mode, the PC simulation will stop and the controller will run standalone, and the internet browser will be here, and you can actually load the browser and start controlling the system via the browser. Alright. To go into working mode, we have to do a final on the CVC program. Alright. So how do you add the WEBGUI into the demo project that we have created? First thing, all these modules, you may put all of these modules into a folder. The recommended place to put in is that you can copy the module and put it into the under my document. Under my documents, there is a special folder being created for you, which is the Q Visual Composer folder. When you will be created when you install the Visual Composer. Go into user device and copy the server into the user device folder. And next, copy the WEBGUI graphic collection into the user collection folder. Right click and paste it. Copy and replace. And then go back. Copy the CVCM file, okay, which is the interface file, and paste it into the user modules section. Paste it. Alright, that's it. After these 3 files are done, close it. Now we are ready to add the modules into the project. Click on My Project Resources, go under Queue Units and Device, right click on it, insert a device. Insert a WebGUI Q web server, WebGUI server module. Alright, next, insert a Queue unit. You may select any touch panels. Alright, take note, it has to be a touch panel from Queue. Alright, so go under Touch Queue. Okay, select any of the Touch Queue 7 or Touch Queue 12. Double click on Touch Queue 7. Alright, and then drag and drop Touch Queue 7 into the system and label it, change the name of the panel to WebGUI 1. This is very important, alright, and this will contain, alright, all the graphic objects for WebGUI. Because WebGUI is a web application, so the panel will not be, so this is actually the panel, for this panel that you have created, you may treat it as a dummy or a container containing all your web graphics. So these web graphics, when executed, will be loaded into the web server. And this WebGUI 1 panel will be disabled or unused throughout the project. Alright? Or rather, this WebGUI 1 will be unused during runtime, when the project is in running or on runtime. Alright? Display resolution, set the display resolution to 1024 width and height. It can be 768, or if you want to do a portrait and both portrait and landscape design for the iPad, you may want to put in 1024 by 1024 so that you can design for both portrait and landscape. And after that, go under the My Project Resources, drag and drop the WebGUI server into the system and connect the web server port to the TCP server port of the controller or touch panel you wish to run the WebGUI on. So I will connect it to panel 1. Alright. And after that, go to My Project Resources, Graphic Collection tab. Right click, insert, and go under User Collection. Okay, look for the WebGUI collection that we have inserted just now. Okay, double click, and then next, go to Touch Panel 1, Modules. Alright, right click on the modules and to import. Look for the WebGUI interface.cvcm file. Why do we insert this module into Touch Panel 1 and not others? It's because the GUI web server is actually connected to Panel 1 and connected to the TCP server of Panel 1. Alright, so we have to create this module in Panel 1. And next, go to WebGUI 1, Windows. Open the My Resources. Open the WebGUI graphic collection and add in WebGUI Builder and do a build. You should see rebuild OK. Once you have done that, you have successfully added the WebGUI into your project. However, we have still got to set up simulation for the system. Alright, so we have to go under configuration, create a new simulation, call it WebGUI simulation. Alright, and what this simulation should do is that let's set the rest of the simulation to none and simulate only the WebGUI and the Touch Panel 1. Alright, Touch Panel 1 is hosting the server. WebGUI is a container for all the graphics. So when you do simulation, you should simulate only these two. And close. And next, create another simulation called the upload WebGUI files. Click OK. And for this, you might set the touch panel to hardware and WebGUI to simulation, and the rest none. Alright, touch panel 1 as hardware, WebGUI as simulation. Alright, this will actually allow the WebGUI 1, when simulated, to actually load all the pages to the hardware of touch panel 1. To test, let's try a WebGUI simulation. Alright, as you can see, there's an error in the web builder. Please insert page. So what we need to do next is to insert a page into the WebGUI. Go on to the WebGUI graphic collection, drag and drop a page into the system. Alright, double click on the page. Alright, you have to set the ID to 1. Okay, a page of ID 1 will be the default ID of the WebGUI homepage. Alright, so this will be the first page to open for the WebGUI where you set ID to 1. Alright, so you have to have at least one page with ID 1, or else the system will not work. Then we drag and drop a push button into the system, and we may set the joins ID, the Boolean joins ID, to 1 as well. Alright, and we can start as GUI simulation. This time, the loading is completed. Now next is that you need to open up a browser. Let me open up a browser. Let me open up a browser. Type in the URL http localhost. Okay, the port number to access is 8080 because the web server is hosted on 8080. Note that on the controller, port 80 has been reserved for our administration web page. So you can only use any port other than port 80. So to set up the port, just go into configuration, select web server. The port is actually stated here. And to register the WebGUI, you need to send us the WebGUI serial number as well as the serial number of the controller or touch panel to be registered, and we will send you the key, the registration key. Okay, the registration key that the registration number that you can use to key into this section here. So you need to key in the serial number and the registration number. Alright, and with that you can register the WebGUI system. Alright, so now we go back to our page and we refresh it. Voila! So you have seen the WebGUI in operation. You see the web page with a button that we have created. How do you program anything for the button that you have created? Go into configuration, web server, right click on the web server, go under events. Note that all WebGUI operation will be via the web server, and the touch panel will in fact be non-operational during runtime. So you cannot use the button on the panel and do a right click event and handle the event on the panel itself, because the panel is actually dummy. It's actually just a container for the web page that you have created. So go into Boolean join. We have set Boolean join just now, right? So just click on Boolean join and handle it on touch panel 1. Note that you have to handle the event on the same controller that the web server is running in, or else the event might not be triggered if you have put the event in other places. Alright, so it's usually the safest to actually put the event at the place whereby the web server is linked to or connected to. which is touch panel 1. Alright, so next, a Boolean join event will be created for you. So what I'll do is that there will be a set of parameters being passed in: client ID, join ID, new value, and tag. So client ID will be the ID of the client, the remote client that is connected to. Alright, the valid values for these IDs can be in the range of -4 to -1 and positive value 1 to positive value 4. Alright, join ID is the ID of the button that we have created just now, and the join ID, the Boolean join ID of the button. New value is whether the button is pressed or released. Tag is the value of the tag on the page itself. So you can just set the value of the tag by clicking on the page, and you can set a default tag value, or when you click on the button, you can change the tag value by setting the tag value here. Alright, so let's do a simple debug print of the joins ID. So we stop the WebGUI and let's do a restart. Alright, so let's open up the browser again. As we have not changed the graphics, alright, so we can actually use the browser directly. Click on the browser and you will see 1 being printed out here. 1 is in fact the Boolean ID that is being set here. Boolean join ID that's being set here. So you can create multiple buttons having different Boolean ID, Boolean join. Restart and do a refresh. You may have to refresh 2 times for Mozilla, alright, because it didn't automatically load the files. And then click on the next button. Sorry. Oops, there's a, okay. Sorry, there's a, looks like my computer is getting slow. So, alright, as you can see, the button press, the Boolean joins are being sent in 1 and 2 accordingly. So go under device event to program the button. Simple. All you need to do is just to add a select statement. When all the buttons are unique, what you can do is just simply do the select statement of the join ID. And I can do it in a way that case, okay, select case 1, which is join ID 1, and case 2. So for case 1, I will drag and drop the projector to, I will create a function of power on and a function of power off for case 2. Okay, stop and start again. So when you click on the, sorry, you have to also show this thing. So when you click on here, you can, as you can see here, the serial 2 blinking. So this shows that serial data is being sent out of the port to control the BenQ projector that we have created in earlier video. Alright. So with this, I would like to end my short demo. You have now been able to insert WebGUI into your project, into your existing project, and create some function for the WebGUI buttons you have inserted. With this, I would like to end the video. Thank you. Goodbye.